When we think about tanks, we think about large, destructive metal machines. But this wasn't always the case.
World War I, or the Great War, was a global war that started in 1914 and ended in 1918. It was fought between the Allies and the Central Powers. Unlike the battles in the past, battles in this war were mostly fought in trenches. Because trench warfare was very slow and claimed a lot of lives, both sides were in need of a machine that could help them get past the enemy lines.
The first tanks were not what we would think of when we think of modern tanks. They weren't even really tanks. They were more gun carriages. They were not very reliable and broke down easily. Some of the first modern tanks were developed in response to the high casualties of trench warfare. The Mark I tanks were developed by the British to cross trenches and gain more territory. They were not armed with tank cannons, but were machine guns to disperse enemy infantry. The French and later Germans also developed their own model of tanks that were somewhat used during the war.
Even though these early tanks were not very reliable, they will later become an important part of World War II.
World War II started in 1939 and ended in 1945. It was fought between the Allied forces and the Axis forces. This war was not fought with trenches, but involved a lot more armored warfare. Tanks became essential to the war effort, with every major country in the war developing their own line of tanks.
During World War II, both sides produced their own tanks. Tanks in this era carried large caliber cannons and most were heavily armored. Tanks like the American M4 and the German Panzer were well known. They were used to scour infantry, destroy other tanks, and lead charges in the front line. At the end of the war, the Axis powers lost some of their tank manufacturing capabilities due to the bombing of their manufacturing plants and the loss of resources. We can see this in countries like Japan, where most of their newer models of tanks like the Type 5 Chiri could not be manufactured due to metal shortages.
Overall, tanks were very important during World War II. We can see that high industrial relationship ties in with the quantities of the tanks that were manufactured. Also, countries with more resources were able to produce more tanks and tanks of better qualities. Tanks were not very important during World War I, but became more important during World War II. Industrialized and wealthy countries were able to produce more tanks. Today, we still have tanks that continues to be important.
What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude! All of it down.
You ripped a hole in it.
Dude, we're gonna have to go pick that up.
World War II started in 1939 and ended in 1945. It was fought between the Allied forces and the Axis forces. This war was not...
Dude, Tom, what are you doing?
Tom, are you good?
Tom, are you sure you're not stuck on that?
Oh my god.
Tom! Hey, you two pull him down. We're gonna keep filming. Okay, just keep going with your lines. Well, I'll edit that out. I'll edit that out.
Dude, I forgot your pin.
Are you still filming? Yeah. Oh, he's off. Okay, we good. Just keep reading your lines.
Though these early tanks were not very reliable.
World War II started in 1939 and ended in 1945. It was fought between the Allied forces and the Axis forces. This war was not fought with trenches, but involved a lot more armored warfare. Tanks... Oh my...